Mamin call Ghana registered nurses and midwives association ho embra na mene kasama for any nkomo Philemon Japan ewo ahobaso mene ne nkasamra na yeba ya to aso Philemon what you mean ka ma good morning let's say
me never me just so je une o sister na studio or any we tifo ina so
me bra enti kwabna Henry de mi nipa na the voice in the mind so my sister
kwabna Henry o be na wa pe bibidu bi anom na onini mu epeja kakra
okay odaze why no ofuju na enkomo ya ye di ababaye national issue. I mean, many have condemned. A lot of people also defended the abranti and and say Drew baby a yeba hospital crowd mo ye lakada se kadodo. Nurses know the activeness and the promptness as somebody who patients mo nye ne sa. Enti abanisa. But as an association, yenim say nra mo tu anamo akọ Rage Hospital. Besi anopeya yeni will be dim komwe no. What has transpired so far when it comes to this particular issue?
Okay, I think so. Mami akwenya na memfa educate public ne kakra. Oba emergency, oba hospital, OPD is different from emergency. OPD ne said the na hwa na obi e twene to first come first serve. Nti oba ye chicho nsa na wakohu doctor wo ya wakoji wedru na uko fie. Ana say aje wato na akọ ward. But emergency no ye do to ambulance motion near the waba and I say boabomu near the waba bira emergency ho. And now one kasa crowd me for car no waba bira emergency. We right emergency wa. The staff that are in the emergency unit, ombe assessor, you pay be triaging. Now triaging process, and it's all check vital signs in the minimum. I have SpO2, oxygen concentration. Your friend is saying. With temperature, with BP, with pulse. Now, yes, I mean, you better assess airway. You who say immediate life-threatening issue or what? Now, or try I do we. Now say, bad. There is that agent. You better color code red. Red is say in the menu I am sure. And no, and you will bush for a better someone in Temo, next a doctor. Ube with a nurse for na 8 America, doctor for na 8 America. And the second triad color gold. Na gold no so just a red na and no so no America too sa. Into uba so be ba hospital near the America near 2 America or emergency wa. And no interest any panel special and answer and answer no matter who you are, we give that care. That person. If you go now about yellow no chest no suno SAN and 10 kakra. The if san suni now but green it says a rap for the AB on setting a teacher. Wrong. Ain't you and no yet the banner beach show and sana. Cause now on a code card we are no abana actually a bonnet hill. And no interest obi ye like a difficult attitude. As you heard near or no any dangerous near Reno.
Philemon, before you carry on, I mean, processes are what the go through. The assertion is that about the medical field, more practicing, more standard of practice. Many are of the opinion say the name emergency means that there is an urgent situation. Here, attention, okay? And processes are what numerated the maya. And who cry here? Nipa ni beru just take care of the person, and then we are they all be no matuaso ama nipa no I go through the processes because nipa nenye no I'm coming. I say na e wa bontin say nipa nenye ruahone de. That means there is an urgent situation. So why don't you attend to that urgency and sana procedure wo boss yi nyina no nipa no mu wie mu sustain ni wie a watimi go through.
Okay, my mention idea kakra. Owura kwabnati ho ya o ne ne di nkomo yi. Obetimi aba Rage Hospital me no kase ya. Na oduru ho a me yafunu na ne ya o ebi a onum koko bi a anko yi.
Okay.
Then am say ono no efi say o pen ntem ontimi nkodi line na okọ nua FM akọ kasa nti. Obetimi akasa ne de ne ye emergency na wabewura Rage na obowura ho a oye popular nti ebi obenya obi asonesa e de na kose oh we dey emergency we munim no yenhwe no eno ma ye ntu America yanka say be try ajo ye ka say be try ajo it's part of our processes, it's part of our working. And we are biased towards the most serious condition, no matter who the person is, whether or the most serious condition will give us the agency that it deserves. It's not whether you have entered the emergency or not. So who emergency? Why not just say
okay.
The training we have received, and yes, sir, well, we will weary ourselves out with unimportant cases that are not serious cases that are supposed to be seen as OPDs will carry our attention, and those who need urgent care will be neglected to die. And that is what we want to avoid.
Okay.
Into Oba, and not just say Oba to Kokoje card, but it's never here nor there is not the truth. Obi awaba with any emergency, yeah, better your craft, France, and I can say Koje card. Some more those one, Obi living Koje card, not Obi air, because Nipano Yanko Obi ni urine output and fan Koje, and answer near Bemu Bruno. Our system allows that Yemfa would do, Yemfa would age. Yemfa will diagnosis and show. Ni ensure say as much Yeman intuition say, Yeman online say, Yen train a lab say, Yembon to because do na eba nti say yam processes no systematically. E be fe ni so be hu ne ye de croak ya wo. E bia na nka say ye ma o paracetamol.
Okay.
We need public education. Public must understand that over emergency we have systems in place to work. And the system must work. You must not hurry the system because you think your case is an emergency. No. Let us assess you and know which color code you belong to and give you the agency that you deserve.
Okay.
Now say, I'm sure you say, we food to fry. Now say, Obia the emergency there. Obi da honun to me.
Then the purpose of establishing that department and award, will be defeated, right?
Exactly the case that
okay.
I am talking about. And see, the rough idea as a condemn it. Yesterday I was on one of the TV stations, and a lot of people were calling in, and I took time to explain to them. In fact, I went with someone who understands triad very well for the person to also give a background of some of the situation with himself. Obi etimia ko hospital staff a patient relative etimia bo nurse be asunda because he felt that the person was not giving him the urgent attention. Meanwhile, the person didn't need it. Or sure, and you thought that yours was more important than his. We need public education on this. We are going to continue as an association. We expect government to also help in this regard. We expect Ghana Health Service to help. We expect Ministry of Health to help so that we can all educate the public about emergency and urgency and what you should take to the emergency ward and what you shouldn't take there. Emergency. It's a OPD. Now, code line. Now, code card. They show. If you say Bibiana also emergency, then I'm say Bibiana also emergency. They be an habo don't you? And see, this is a tree bonnie segregation.
Na Philemon, emergency ne kra no. Is it a case is obi condition bia won bia Onua timi de ne pe eba emergency. And now say nipa no ye rushing in there ought to be some level of assessment to say there be situation where there here some level of agency and as I say I didn't call this word. Now you make sure say you be man the required attention. I mean, can anybody at all walk into an emergency ward to say maba micro emergency case and say monshemi ana?
Okay, so the Ghana your hospital system they had the restriction back to prevent people from walking in one way a disaster. So we allow people to walk into the emergency with urgent conditions, but not OPD conditions. That's a walking in. That's a hell. That's a what they are OPD. You try to do what you bet much on the OPD na ko card na
Okay.
And no na ebin siasia na almost oh make na nurse for no nurse station ho omo lakadetega omo share me omo se me san koye card na me ko OPD because we want siasia because yen nim say wo de na nya emergency wo delay yen na wo ye de attention ba so a omo de na ye emergency ne ba we won't have that next time to be able to see that emergency. The emergency preparedness plan allow us to have free hands already available to attend to accident cases, people who are bleeding, people who are having respiratory distress, 1 or 2 people, so that now we should be able to give you that needed attention to give you life. Now, Obebana say, Obia, Sebe, Nene, Wakobo Bona, Nene, Wetiki, and Nene Mudodo, no Waba, and I yet jadi, na Seno. Na Obia, when ya kumayaria, oh, and now Obia, wepra, bleedy kese, Edenaba, na because Oba affect into your unity, you mean correct, Nipana, Nipana, then we have not been professional in our way.
I see. Now, in the current situation, what I know the stance of the association, but I mean, at the entire AMA association, I take such an entrenched position, sir. More government, an ultimatum of 48 hours. In the absence of that, say, if nothing is done, I mean, you may want to declare a strike.
Yeah, entrenched. When the position is entrenched, it means that it's a reasonable time near the amount.
Now, reasonable time, 48 hours a day. How can we resolve a situation within that, within this context?
DNI say NIB since almost said deny NIB almost for baby no no more time be I don't turn it to social media to ayampia and he's let loose and he had the boldness to even call a lot of officials and be talking anyhow, and we think that is not correct. Unia, who call Red Hospital since you are next for no more emergency they feel threatened. Ultimately, nipa besi the motorbikes my yo muti ho so man on red o say then nam hospital gidi abu obi ba unya ba na ebo no ne ehia na nsa.
Philemon, is it the case the lady in question was truly assaulted? If so, maybe Philemon, maybe miss a question on the year, no. Is it truly the case the lady in question or the nurse in question was assaulted? If so, Bessia no pay a year kase no, wa make any official complaint with any of the police stations are you around and
Ababa one so better crowd sorry I complain. We have gone to complain for the
there be Philemon. Enti Ababa one into me nye complain. Enti mo na mo complain na ma Ababa one.
The hospital authorities said they made the complaint the following day. So when we went there yesterday, we demanded to see what efforts they have put in because Baba one has been on admission for 3 days.
Complain no at which particular station?
Almost at Adabraka police station.
Adabraka police station. Okay.
So
go ahead, me too. I wanted to clarify that. Yes.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that what the gentleman did was uncalled for. It was not necessary, and it is a hooliganic behavior and must not be entertained in Ghana. It is very inappropriate. We must condemn it, and it must take its course of action. Assault is criminal. Battery is criminal. So the person must be put to behind bars. The person must be arrested. He should not be allowed to be lingering through the street, making social media posts and thinking that he's more Ghanaian than any of us. President Mahama now, on my opinion, and he's the commander-in-chief. And he will not see Ghana to go down. He is working for our progress. And as an association, our plea to him, our plea to the authorities, our plea to IGP, our plea to the management is that let's bring people who are perpetrators of evil to book. Then you will have peace in this country and be able to discharge our duties well.
Now, in the absence of that, you strike here more calling, right?
Yes, 48 hours this one. Ghana for betting.
48 hours, no, 48 hours, no, be ended a bang.
Enra, Enema, that
Ultimatum.
Ultimatum, it's from 12 o'clock. Into from 12 o'clock up to the next 48 hours, you know. Okay, calculate here. Yes, so be more time, maybe some prepare.
Very well. Now, there's also the question of the fact that Ralph was not fighting for himself. When he Obifo for and a buy, that person, no, also the videos, you know, I was here, did not to stretcher, so it's a bed, so unattended to. Is that really the case? More investigations are more, you know, reveal anything of a sort, and
it's not true. The gentleman, Ralph, was complaining that he was unattended to because of his ignorance in healthcare. It's because he expects all the nurses in the hospital and the doctors to climb over that gentleman and be taking care of him, which is not done. The gentleman had been triaged. They had set IV line. They have put infusion on the gentleman. They were waiting to do an X-ray. They were waiting to do a CT scan. And that is the more reason why the gentleman was laid down on the stretcher. Look, yeah, the auto stretcher, so now the whole now. They said to be bed rest. Sometimes they are using that to reduce your intracranial pressure. So you shouldn't be disturbed. It's out of ignorance. It is never true. In fact, I spoke to the medical director of Rich Hospital yesterday. He personally attended to him, the gentleman, and then to Ralph. It's never true that the guy was left unattended. Ofi say, "Wabana ya shene na oda hono. Yenja de na ni emejina na hono yen tulala by man," which is not done.
Very well, no be a case to la by Mobia. And see, why? I'm grateful for your time. To be any Onua, you must know where the come of you.
That's it for sure.
Velemon Japan, PRO and the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, speaking to us this morning.
Onua 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM.